Hello, Ned.
Hello, sir.
How are you all doing?
Please, we are fine.
Okay. You are welcome to today's Teacher in You. And I know most of you know me. Those who don't know me, I go by the name Isaac Ohina, your facilitator for ICT. Today, I want us to look at a topic that's quite, legal. Let me put it that way. It's quite legal. Sometimes we go through a whole lot of things when we are caught up in such issues. Today, we are going to look at a topic called copyright ethics. Copyright ethics. Sometimes they pop into the BEC from time to time. There are questions that do come into the BEC. So today, I wanted to look at it. We've looked at so many, normal or usual topics, but I think for some time now, we've not seen anything on copyright ethics. And I'm suspecting that something like that will come up. Okay. I want us to have a look at this scenario. I'm going to read it to you so that we deliberate on it before we go into the topic proper. It says, Mr. Yaubedu, Mr. Yaubedu designed a very sophisticated software, which was valued at a total cost of $250,000. A friend of his had access to his laptop and copied the software unknowingly and installed it on his laptop. Suddenly, or in some way, somehow, Mr. Yaubedu realized that his software that he had developed is on the market for sale. And also, others are using that same software or a copy of that software. If you were Mr. Yaubedu, what would you have done? If you were Mr. Yaubedu, what would you have done? Emmanuel?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, what would you have done?
Sir, please, I would have sue her in court.
You sue the person in court. That is a very good suggestion, a very, very good one. But the question is, can you sue him in court? Yes, other viewers, we are listening to you. Bridget. Hello, Bridget. I want to see your faces. I want to see your faces online. I want to see your faces. Bridget, Paul, Boama, and Bruce. Emmanuel Corte says, Emmanuel Corte says he will sue the person in court. What are your views? As we wait for your views, Emmanuel, so if you should take this person to court, what are you going to tell the court? Today, since we are going to the law court, we are in the legal school today. What will you tell the law court? That he has stolen something from you?
Sir, please, I would have reported it as he has stolen my property.
Okay. But the question is, what proof do you have that this is yours? That is the question. So this scenario over here is a very dicey one, and it's quite difficult for people to even understand the way the law deals with such issues. Yeah. Welcome, Boama. So it's very, very nice. But at the end of our learning today, we all know how easy it is to solve such cases. Okay, so we will come back to this scenario again, and we'll answer it at the end of our lesson. So let's go to our next slide, which says, at the end of this lesson, we should know or know how to explain the concept of copyright and copyright infringement. Copyright and copyright infringement. Copyright and copyright infringement. Then we have state reasons for copyright protection. Why do we protect our properties or our intellectual properties? Then we also look at what outlining some copyright laws in Ghana. We will look at some few copyright laws in Ghana and also explain the effects of breaking the copyright laws. Okay, so I hope you have everything set. And we want to go through the history of copyright from the beginning. So the first copyright law that was adopted was in the year 1710. The year 1710. And it was called the Statute of Art. It was a copyright which was based on a book, the Statute of Art. Copyright based on the book, the Statute of Art. So that was the first copyright law that was adopted, let me put it that way, or accepted, the Statute of Art. But the question is, what is copyright itself? So what is copyright itself? So as we are going through this, before we get to the definition of copyright, I hope you develop some ideas about copyright. So I'll be asking you very soon. The copyright law in 1791, in the 17th century, only applied to the copying of books. As I said, the Statute of Art was about books that were written, or storybooks, novels that were written in the year 1781, thereabouts, in the 17th century. And for you to be able to copy someone's book or reproduce someone's book, you had to go and seek permission from the owner or who is the author of the book. That is what we call the copyright book. So it is what applied towards copying of books. Then it later covered other forms of reading, that's learning, that's translation and derivative works. When we talk about derivative works, these are works which are derived from other works. Let's say I have created, I've written a book. Then someone decides to create a commentary on the book. The person has to seek my consent before creating that commentary. That is what a derivative works. So something which is derived from. Okay, so what is copyright? Well, can you tell me what copyright is? What am I saying? Or Bridget? HP Bridget. Can any of you, okay? Emmanuel, Cody, what is copyright?
Copyright is the legal right of an author that protects his or her.
Okay, so he says the legal right of an author that protects his or her what? Work. The legal right of what? An author. So Bridget, can you give me any definition?
Copyright is the legal right to determine or control products and sells copy of products.
Okay. So to the determination of products and also what? Selling or controlling of products. So we have artists, products, any other definition? Well, do you have any other definition for us? Emmanuel Fori. Okay, so the definitions you have given is not wrong. They are correct in their own sense, or they are more or less parts of the definition for copyright, because copyright extends to a vast area. It doesn't limit itself to, let's say, books alone. They go beyond books. So let's look at this. It says copyright is the legal right. The first place, it was a legal right assigned or given to the originator of a work for a number of years to print, publish, perform, film, or record literary, artistic, or music material. The reason why I said it's not limited to books alone is because we have filming over there, we can have music, we can have recorded literary materials, something like audiobooks and all, a whole lot. Recently, or let me say last week, I had a chance to listen to an audiobook, a story. And then the title of the story was Istanbul. I loved it. I loved it very much. And I decided to go to YouTube to search for audios because the app which was giving me those audios decided that they will give you 2 audios every single day. And I realized that the story was in the 600 and I think 700 and something episodes. As of now, I think they are now in the 810 episodes now. And I was at episode 4, which was a little bit upset. I wanted to listen to the audio. So I decided to go on YouTube, search for it, and I downloaded it. But surprisingly, 2 days later, I searched and I was not able to find that same page where I downloaded the audio. The reason being that that page was reported for what? Copyright infringement. That means the person took someone else's, how do we call it, product or a recorded literature and was what? Reproducing it on a different platform, which was wrong, or the person saw it to be what? Illegal. So we say copyright is a legal right assigned or given. So you can either use what? Assigned or given to the originator of what? A work for a number of years. It is not for a lifetime, it's for a number of years. So no one has the total, how do we call it, right for a particular product, unless, let's say you have something like a trust, where when the time elapses or when it's time for you to renew your copyright, you can easily go and renew it or upgrade it. Okay. It can also be described as the collection of rights. Remember that Emmanuel said that it was right, or the legal right protecting what? Authors of what? Books, or artists from people from copying and other. I think Bridget also gave her definition. So it said that what? It's a what? Collection of rights. So the rights Emmanuel mentioned and the rights Bridget mentioned and other rights coming together to form what? A copyright. So it says what? That right, that automatically gives someone who creates an original work of authorship, like a literary work, song, movie, or software. If you want the definition to, you can easily go to what? Copyright, copyrightalliance.org. You can get the definition from there. You can easily get your definition from there. So that is basically the definition for copyright. Some say copyright is the right to copy, which is quite wrong. We know that we all have our rights as human beings, and as people in the country Ghana, we all have our rights. So, Emmanuel, what is one of the rights of a child? One of your rights, according to the Constitution of Ghana, what's one of your rights?
Please, the right to life.
Right to life. And others will say, Bridget, Caleb.
Right to education.
Right to education. Caleb, are you here? Can you give us one right? Okay. It seems the others don't want to talk. Or we will not say anything. We will still be waiting for them. Okay, so we have right to what? Education, right to life. You can say right to choose at your age. You can't choose for now. You have to wait for your right to choose the religion you want to join. A whole lot of rights. It is the same way. Right to copy is not copyright. They are two different entities. The right to copy is not the same as what? Copyright. Remember, copyright is the legal right of what? An author of an artwork or a literary work, a song or movie or a software. But when it comes to right to copy, that means you have been given the right to what? Produce or reproduce an artwork or a song or software. Back in 2003, we saw a whole lot of copyright infringement because as at that time, series or movie series were on where we used to do this thing. People used to copy them and place them online and sell them. So we decided to, myself included, I bought some of those CDs and watched them, but they were against copyright. We'll see why it's against copyright very soon. Okay, so what can be copyrighted per our definition? In Ghana, what do you think can be copyrighted? The reason why we are limiting ourselves to Ghana is that probably in the United States, the UK, Nigeria, maybe Togo or our bordering nation countries, or maybe the Europe or Asia, whatever can be copyrighted in those countries might not be the same in our country, even though we might have similarities, but they might all not be the same. So if I may ask to the whole group, what can be copyrighted? What do you think can be copyrighted? If anyone has an answer, you can just lift your hand then, or show me your hand. Okay. Iman, you can speak.
Sir, please, movies.
Movies, okay. Iman Ofori.
Music.
You can also speak. Pardon?
Music. Music.
Music, very good. The two Imanuels have spoken. Who else? Chairman, can we hear you? Caleb. Paul.
Sir, softwares.
Softwares, very good. Bridget, you can speak. Caleb, how are you doing?
Books.
Books, very good, very good. So basically in Ghana, these are some of the items that we can what easily copyright. So let's look at this. It says literary work. Now, when we talk about literary work, then we are talking about what? Books. So anything which is based on books can easily be what? Copyrighted. So we are talking about literature, we are talking about how do we call it? Storybooks. We are talking about books that were based, which are based upon, let's say, subjects or your subject books like ICT book, your social studies book, your mathematics books. These are all literary books or literary works. Then we come to artistic work. Artistic work. Now, when we talk about artistic work, we should differentiate this from artist, which is, let's say, a music artist. These are two different things. Artistic work is talking about paintings, sculpture. These are some of the items that can be what? Copyrighted. Then we come to musical work. Then we come to what? Sound recordings. I think quite recently, there's this music artist who said that the Ghana Tourist Authority, the Ghana Tourism Authority, has used his sound without what acknowledging him or even asking permission. That is Fuse ODG. Recently, he has been speaking that what the GTA, that's the Ghana Tourism Authority, has used his work. So you can all see that what it is following what we do, what sound recording or what musical work. So these are some of the items that we can what copyright. Then we can also have audio or audiovisual works or television shows. Now, let's say this session that we are having right now, if we should see that this session is on someone else's platform, which is not joint learning, then we can say that the person has what has copied our product illegally. So we can also, we have the rights for what we are doing right now is copyrighted. Then we have derivative works. Derivative works. And I said derivative works are what? Who can tell me what I said about derivative works? Derivative works. Who can tell me what I mentioned about derivative works?
Please, you said works that are derived from another work.
Okay, so a work that is derived from another work. So let's say, thank you very much, Emmanuel. That means you might have created a software. Then someone decides to, based on your software, create another software or use your software as a platform to create another software. It was a derivative work. So per definition, we can say a derivative work is a work based on or derived from a more or already existing work. A work that is already what existing. So we don't have it, to write it down. A work that is what already existing. So common derivative works includes translation, music arrangement, motion pictures, versions of literature, materials or plays, art reproduction, abridgments, and condensation of pre-existing work. So yeah, basically what they're saying is that any work that existed already and someone decided to maybe recreate something on it, it makes it what? A derivative work. But can all works be a derivative works if you have not sought permission? We will look at that one too very soon. Okay, so we can also talk about computer softwares or programs. One of you mentioned it. And we have industrial designs. Can anyone give me an example of an industrial design? Any idea of what an industrial design is? Industrial design. An example of an industrial design can be, how do we call it? Maybe a printed fabric, or let's say the t-shirt that I'm wearing right now. It seems, Ofori, this thing is taking a whole lot of noise. Oh, it's mine. Well, let's continue. This t-shirt that I'm wearing right now has a logo on it. It is a brand for a particular company. So it's an industrial design, it's designed for a particular company. So this thing has been copyrighted. If I should see anyone reproducing this somewhere else other than joint learning, the person has what? Gone against the law. So this is an example of industrial design. We can have so many others like printed fabrics and all those things. So I don't know if most of you listen to the news, you realize that you got to a time where the textile industry started stopping fabrics which were coming from outside Ghana, because most of them had taken our prints and taken it to outside Ghana to print them and bring them back cheaper than what we are doing here, causing the textile industry in Ghana to lose a lot. So that's an example of industrial designs. So what cannot be copyrighted in Ghana? If we have mentioned that movies, music, books, soundtracks or songs or music can be copyrighted, what can't we copyright in Ghana? Who can tell me what cannot be copyrighted in Ghana? I don't need to mention names, so. Daniel, you are welcome. What can be copyrighted in Ghana? What can we not copyright in Ghana? Yeah, Ofori, you can speak. Ofori, I'm listening to you. Food.
Food.
Food. Very good. We cannot copyright food. Very good. I've not heard that one yet. That someone has copyrighted food. Hey, clap for yourself. You've done really well. Food. Copyrighting food. Yeah. We cannot copyright food. Very good. Who else? But when you are done, I'll say something. Okay, if you can't speak, you can easily type your question, your answers in the chat box so that I can read them. Okay, you can easily also type in the chat box and write them. What can't be copyrighted in Ghana? Apart from food, what can't be copyrighted in Ghana? Okay, someone says language. Language, very good, Cote. You're done really well. Language cannot be copyrighted in Ghana. Language cannot be copyrighted. Caleb, very good, thank you very much. Caleb says culture. Culture cannot be what? Copyrighted in Ghana. Don't want me to see your face. You just entered into the chat. Okay, dance, very good. So we have language, food, culture, we have dance. So these are some of the things that we cannot what? Copyright it. Besides, if you copyright food, how will it taste if you reproduce another one which does not taste the same? Is it yours? It is strange. But sometimes the way we Ghana and Nigeria have battling about culture, dance. Sometimes Ghana can bring up a dance and you dance, and people from that side will try to take it as yes. They brought it. So we have a way to also copyright our dance. Else they will still take it from us. Okay, so let's look at some of them. It says the first one says ideas. I will tell you a story about something very important. I won't go into it too much. The idea in your head might also be the same in another person's head. So your ideas cannot be copyrighted. There was this man, let me put it this way. There was this man. This one is not an idea, but that one will follow the concept. So let me put the ideas first. Back about, I think 4, 5, or let's say 6 years ago, I was on my way to work and I hatched an idea in my head. That was even before COVID. COVID, I think, was about 3 years ago. And the idea was to create a company that will go around and purchase food products or food stuff for those who cannot go to the market. And the idea was to call it Draso. So I was thinking about how to raise funds to start, and I slowed down a little bit. So about 2 years ago, 2 years later, I realized that someone has come up with the same idea. And the person was advertising it on social media. So the question is, did the person steal my ideas? No, No one can steal my ideas because my ideas are in my head and I didn't share it with that person. So no one can steal it. But the person also had a similar idea. So in that case, you cannot say that you want to copyright your idea. You don't want to copyright your idea. I think Emmanuel and Clifford, can you please mute your this thing? Okay, let me mute you. Okay, thank you very much. So you can't copyright your ideas. The ideas you have about a particular product or a particular technology might not be in your head only. Someone also might have thought of it. The only thing is you have to produce that idea or let it come into reality. Then you can copyright it. Now, concept. Somewhere around 2000, in the wake of mobile money, I don't know which mobile money came first, if it was Tigo or Airtel or MTN, but the one which has been able to survive is MTN. So far, they have been able to survive. Vodafone is also surviving. Airtel Tigo is also surviving. But I don't know the one which came first. There was this guy, this is a scenario, who created the idea, who had the concept of mobile money and placed it on, how do we call it, paper. Designed the paper and wrote a paper on it and went to one telecommunication company. And what he did was he showed it to one of them, the bosses over there. And the guy said, "Whoa, this is a nice idea. You know something? I can see you are hungry. We are all going on lunch. So why don't you take this money and go for lunch? And later, when you come back, we talk about it." The funny thing is, when the guy came back, he could not find the guy he gave the papers to. And at the end, that paper later came out as what? Mobile money. And later, that company started doing mobile money. Now, was it wrong for the person to have done that? Well, the guy had a concept in his head. This time went ahead to put it on paper, but refused to copyright that paper. So there is no way that this guy would take the company to and say that, hey, this is my idea or this is my concept, I brought this paper. No, no one will believe you. Even if you have the original paper or whatever, no one will believe you. It could even be said that you sold the paper to someone else. So copyright is very, very important. Another thing that cannot be copyrighted right now is what? Works which are not original in character. Let's say I have this remote. This is the original remote. Then I decide to create a similar thing, which is not original from the company. I create it. And this is a Samsung product, and I write it Samsung. Instead of the U, I make it O, Samsung. Samsung and Samsung. Maybe we are singing songs. So I make it O. Then I will try to copyright it. It will not be copyrighted because it is not in original. It's not an original, or it's not in its original character. It has been fixed. If it has been fixed in any definite medium of expression, now known or later to be developed with the result that work can directly or with the aid of any device be perceived. So they are saying that if the product is fixed in any medium, it's within a medium, let's say I have this pen, this light pen. Then there's a product within the light pen which has already been produced, and this light pen has been copyrighted. I cannot copyright what is inside because it is already inside before the pen was produced, and everyone can see it. But if I had copyrighted it before it was inserted into the pen, then fine. I hope you get what I'm saying.
Yes, sir.
Oh, Bibi, you can't hear me. Can you hear me now? Bibi, can you hear me now? Bruce Botre, can you hear me? Okay, let me see. Bruce himself has not got a mic. Okay. I hope you can hear me. Oh.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much for responding. Okay, so let's continue. So, reasons for copyright protection. Why do we copyright our products? Reasons for copyright protection. So why do you think we need to copyright our products? Why do we need to copyright our products? You can enter your answers into our chats, or you can also raise your hand and speak out. Why do we need to copyright our products? Why do we need to copyright our products? Any ideas? Why do we copyright our products? Okay, Emmanuel Korting.
Sir, please, to protect the product.
Protect the product. Okay, Emmanuel Fori, what's your answer?
Sir, please, to encourage the owner to produce more items.
To encourage the owner to produce more items. Okay. Okay, so Caleb says what? That the author will make profit from his own original work. Very good. So to protect the product, to make the owner produce more authentic ones, and also that the author will make profit from his work, original work. That's very good. Any other answer? Yes. Whose hand is up? Bridget, you can speak.
It prevents other people from taking other people credit.
Okay, for prevention of what? Credit taking.
Encourage the owner to produce more items.
Say that I am the one who created it. Like the example I gave, where the guy wrote, let's say, designed a product, the concept of a product, and someone else, took credit for. It's very good, very good. Bridget, do you have anything else to say?
So I said it.
Paul, I've not heard from you. Paul, I hear Taku. Paul.
Okay, so, to promote the development of new intellectual property.
You are not restricted. You can still go online and also look for answers. We are all learning. We are all learning here. You can go online and look for answers too. Thank you very much, Paul. What about you, Chairman Charles? Okay. Let's go on. Now, it says copyright is primarily designed to protect the works of people. So the first reason for copywriting is to what? Protect the works of people. That's the first reason, or the first or foremost protection. Now, then it goes on. It is made to ensure no one copies the work of an author or another person to make profit or gain. As I said, somewhere around 2000, 2003, was a lot of CDs. There were a lot of CDs around where people were just selling them, copying CDs and selling them series of which we bought. A lot of people made money. A lot of people made money out of that sale. But what they were doing is what they were what copying someone else's what work, which is not good, and we're making profit from that copying. Now, make sure people are properly rewarded for their hard work. People are what properly rewarded for their hard work in creating new products. I know most of you have ideas, your imaginations are so wild that you want to create something for yourselves. Copyright is there to help or make sure that you are rewarded for your work. I don't know if you have heard of this award scheme that's, I've forgotten this award scheme, but I'll get to you before we leave here. There's an award scheme for those who produce exceptional ideas or theses or technologies. Okay, so it says that one of the reasons is what to ensure healthy competition, since people are forced to create new products without having to copy already existing ones. I remember, I think Emmanuel Ofori said what we cannot copyright food. A similar thing is here. Now we realize that we all have on our markets where we go to our shops, and I think Caleb shop, we will come to Caleb shop to buy products from there. When we go to the shops, we realize that something like, I don't want to mention products, we have cocoa drinks, I want to put it that way, cocoa drinks or products made from cocoa or cocoa powder. We have them, a lot of them on the market. It might seem they are the same, but they're not the same. The company only copyrights its product's name, not the content. Its product name, not the content. The content is not copyrighted, but the product name. Because the taste in product A might be the same taste in product B, which might be from two different companies using two different methods of producing. But the product names will not be the same. If they are the same, that's where there will be a conflict. But since they are not the same, then we can say that what it is breaking what healthy competition. You have created a product, maybe this light pen. I also create a similar light pen, but it might not be the same. Maybe mine might be transparent, yours is not transparent. So the whole lot of things. There must be competition in the market. Where there's no competition, monopoly sets in, where someone will go, price increase will just, the price will just be increasing, which is very bad for those of us who are consumers. If you go to the market and you know that there's only one company producing, let's say, a cocoa drink, and everybody likes cocoa drink, don't you think when the person decides to increase the price, no one will have a say? No one will have a say. So to bring competition, something like food cannot be what? Copyrighted. So we can say what? Copyright helps ensure what? Competition, since people are forced to create new products without having to copy already existing ones. It helps promote development because people continue to create new things. People move forward instead of staying at one place. People move forward or instead of staying at one place. Now, we are going to look at the copyright laws in Ghana. We'll be ending very soon. This one is a little bit technical, but I want us to have a feel of what the copyright says. So in Ghana, the copyright law, that is PNGC law 110, which was approved or which was accepted in 1985 21st March, provides protection to artists for the list of protected works under Section 2 of the law for a period of the life of the author. This is very key. And 50 years after his death. So the period as far as the author is alive, that product is what's copyrighted, that he owns the copyright to that product. But when that author dies or that author is no more, then we can say 50 years after his death, the copyright will cease to exist. So after the person's death, you'll be enjoying whatever proceeds or proceeds that will come out of what the copyright. You will be enjoying those proceeds. So let's go on. The law protects, or the law provides protection for sound recording, because remember it says a listed number of products in what section 2, section 2 of the law. So these are the products. 1, sound recordings, folklore. I hope you know what folklore is. The establishment of a system of collective administration of author rights. So we are having what? Sound recording, folklore, establishment of what? System of collective administration of author rights. So we are talking about authors' books, the books people write. Then the law establishes a copyright office and provides criminal sanctions. Provides what? Criminal sanctions for the infringement of the copyright. However, technology changes, new international obligations, and the need for enhanced enforcement brought about a new copyright law, which was passed in 2005. Okay, Emmanuel Fori, you said the folklore. What is with the folklore? What do you want to know about folklore? You can speak.
Sir, please, I don't understand.
You don't understand the folklore. Okay.
Yes.
A folklore is simply a story, an old story, or a story about, let's say, a people. It's more or less like, let me see, folk tales. They are more or less like folk tales. So it is what? A story which is basically on what? The traditions of people or the customs of people. Where you come from have their story. No one can take it to be their story. It is from your people. So those stories or those, let's say those stories are what? Copyrighted. But they are transmitted from what? Generation to generation by word of mouth, not in books. That is what the folklore is. So per definition, it says the traditional beliefs, customs, and stories of a community passed through the generations by word of mouth. That is what the folklore is. So these ones, they are not necessarily written down. So let me write the definition for you. The traditional beliefs, customs. Those who want the definition can go to the chat and just write it down. Stories of a community passed down now through the generation. Oh, okay, Caleb, I understand you. I understand what you are saying. So we'll look at it. We will look at it. We will look at it. You see, our viewers are in a whole lot of places. So if we should, let's pray that the country that we are in, we can have a day where our wireless fidelity, that's our Wi-Fi. Those who don't know wireless fidelity, our Wi-Fi will be everywhere where we can have free access to Wi-Fi. But let me say this, very soon I'll be putting, those of you who are on this thing, our social media platforms, I'll be putting this thing, let me say, how do we call it? Credit there. So that you can also be used, so that you can also watch. Very soon, you'll be seeing those things. Our time will be very, very up soon, but let's continue. Let me just put this definition down. Then we can continue. So in 2005, they brought up a new Copyright Act. So this our time is not much. Okay, let's see. So Copyright Act of 2005, we'll just pass through. With the new act, the law protects an artist's work for the period of his life and 70 years. So the first one, which was in 1981, was for what, 50 years. But this one, which is 2005, is for what, 70 years after the person is dead. In that case of sound recording, if only given protection, it only gives protection of 70 years from the year of publication. That means if someone makes a sound recording, a music or anything, it is protected for 70 years whilst you are alive or when the music came into production. So you have 70 years, not after you are dead. That's the difference. The first one covered everything. But here, whilst you are alive and you are 70 years, your music can be used by anyone at any time. The author has the exclusive economic right in respect to what the work to do or authorize the doing of any of the following. So this is what someone can do: the production of a work in any manner or form, the translation, adaptation, arrangement, or any other. Let's skip this ones. Let's look at what makes a work eligible for copyright. The first one is what? Original in character. It must be what? Original in character. It is created by a citizen or a person who is ordinarily resident in the Republic. So if you're not a Ghanaian and you produce your work outside Ghana, you cannot bring it to Ghana to copyright it. You must be in Ghana here to produce it and copyright it here, or a citizen of Ghana. Okay, what is the copyright infringement? Simply, infringement means breaking the law. So when you say copyright infringement, you say it is the term used to describe the act of breaking copyright rules and regulations. The act or the term used to describe the act of breaking copyright rules and regulations. Very simple. This may include illegal copies of software, such as Windows 10. We all know, most of us, I do them a lot. I go against the law sometimes. Yeah, we do download Office, Windows, and other softwares to use. But please, there are other softwares which are called open source softwares. An example is Ubuntu. Ubuntu is an open source software. What an open source software is that you have access to the software, you can download it for free, and also you can do this thing. How do we call it? You can make changes to the software without any issues. You can make changes to the software without any issues. No one can fault you for making changes to the software. Okay, so others actually reproduce the software, sell them at a cheaper price without the permission of the creator of the product. And this is known as piracy, where an artwork is copied and reproduced. It is called piracy. Now, most companies have a new strategy. What they do is that when they create the artwork, they put in a code or lines of code, that's programming, lines of code, where any work that you try to reproduce or you try to copy severally, you rather get a virus. You rather get what? A virus. So let's put it in mind. Very soon, we'll be bringing the lesson to a close. So effects. There are two main effects of copyright. The first one is imprisonment, where you'll be jailed or put in prison for a number of years. And the next one is what? A fine, where you'll be asked to pay an amount of money to the owner of the product. You'll be asked to pay an amount of money. Or sometimes you can be imprisoned and asked to pay a fine. And also you can be asked to stop reproducing a particular product. Some effects, side effects of copyright, copying products is what? Retardation of progress. It retards progress. It discourages people from creating or inventing things. And we can also say it denies individuals and organization funds needs to create new and better products. It denies people an organization the funds needed to create new products. It causes the price of products to rise. So sometimes the price of products rising is due to what? People recreating or copyrighting the products. Okay, I'll say three technologies in copyright that we bring the lesson to a close. The first one is patent. When you hear the word patent, it simply is what? A legal document that guarantees inventors or people who create products the right to their own invention for a limited time. Okay, when we have trademark, sometimes you pick a product and you realize that there's a symbol on it, TM, which is trademark. Anything like, let's say the shirt I'm wearing right now, you can see I love joy learning. This is a trademark. It's a symbol for us. So it says a trademark is a graphic symbol containing how do we call it? Any combination of words, symbols, words, images used to represent a commercial goods produced by a company. So used to call what? A commercial goods produced by a company. Then we have piracy, of which we've already spoken about, where you copy a person's product and reproduce it and sell for gains. It is what? Illegal. Okay, I want us to look at these few questions that we bring today's session to a close. The first one is, what is the first real copyright act known as? The first real copyright act, what is it known as? If you know the answer, you just lift your hand and we go fast, or you can write the answer in our chat too. The first real copyright act, what is it known as? Who can tell me?
So please, PMDC law 110.
Okay, the PMDC law 110. That is the copyright in Ghana. But the first real copyright act, the first one which was ever accepted in the world, let me put it that way. Well, if you have forgotten, let me just give you the answer. It's called the Statute of Art. The Statute of Art, which bordered on what? Statute of Art. It is spelled as, oh, sorry. Statute of Art. It was only bordered on what? Books. So it gives us the answer to the second question, which is what did the first copyright protection protect when it was passed? It was what? For literal work, books or literal works, books. So what is copyright infringement? Copyright infringement. What is copyright infringement? Yeah,
It is the act of breaking copyright rules and regulations.
The art of breaking copyright rules and regulations. Emmanuel, Kote, you can also give me an answer.
It is the term used to describe the act of breaking copyright.
Okay. Okay. Abner, do you have any definition for us? I've not heard your voice today. Okay. So what is piracy? Piracy. What is piracy? Bridget, can you give us the definition for piracy? We have less than 2 minutes to go. Okay, Emmanuel.
So please, is the copying of one's work without his or her permission.
Okay. Bridget, do you have any definition for us?
It is the illegal copy of copywriters' works without permission.
Okay. Now, okay, Caleb. Yeah, Caleb.
So it is the reproduction of a same software by selling them at cheaper prices without the permission of the author.
Okay, very good. I was looking for that word, that keyword, that's reproducing. Reproducing. If you say reproducing, then it's simply, let's say, so if you take Emmanuel and Bridget's definition and we add to Caleb's definition, then it becomes a whole. So it is what the illegal copying and reproducing. If you copy and you don't reproduce, then you don't have piracy. But if you copy and reproduce, so in your definition, always remember to bring what? Reproducing. I hope you get it.
Yes, sir.
Last 2 sets of questions. Identify 3 benefits of copyright protection. 3 benefits. 3 benefits. Any answer? Let me give you one. It helps the owner of the work create more works. Okay, Caleb.
It promotes healthy competition.
Promotes healthy competition. It promotes healthy competition. Yes, anyone else?
So please, it ensures people are rewarded for their work.
Shows that people are rewarded for what their work, because I cannot work for you to enjoy what I have worked for. I have to what? Reward them. Even the Bible has said it. You know, I've forgotten it. I said, go. Okay, Abdullah, do you have any answer for us? Yeah, Abdullah, you are quiet too. Yeah, Emmanuel, your answer, you can speak.
Please, it helps promote development.
Helps promote development. It also helps what? People to create more, create more, help promote development. So what are the 2 major effects of breaking copyright laws? The 2 major effects of breaking copyright laws. Yeah, Emmanuel.
So please, fine and imprisonment.
Very good. So imprisonment or a fine. Imprisonment or a fine. So these are very simple. I hope you studied something today. Can anyone tell me what they studied today. Then we bring the class to a close for today. I want one of you to tell me what we learned today. Just summarize something small. Even if it's a definition, we are good to go. Our time is gone. Our time is up. So today we spoke about copyright, where we said copyright is not the right to copy, but it's rather the legal right enjoyed by what artists or creators of original products, and also protect them from people from copying them, reproducing them, and also help them to what? To gain notoriety, or I would say to help them gain ownership or identity that they have created that particular product. And also we can talk about people, gaining from what they have created. We also spoke about piracy being what? The illegal copying and reproducing of what? An artwork or an original work to make gains, that is piracy. Then we spoke about what? The effects or the results of what? Illegal production of artworks or copywriting, breaching the copyright laws, or what we call infringement of copyright, is what? One, fine, and what? Imprisonment. We can also talk about what? The two main regimes of copyright. That's the first one, which is what? The PNGC law 110, which was in what? 21st March 1981, and spoke about what? That a work can be protected while the person is alive and 50 years after the person is dead. And in 2005, the new Copyright Act says that what? It protects the work of an author while the person is alive and also after death, 70 years. But when it comes to sound recording, it only protects the person from the day of production to 70 years, then the copyright ends or ceases. So it will protect you from day one of the production of the music or the sound till 70 years. Okay, any questions? Do you have any questions for me before we go? The time is up. Any questions? If we don't have any question,
Sir, please,
then
I have a
I'll.
question.
Okay, Emmanuel, I'm listening to you.
Sir, please, where can you report copyright issue?
Okay, the first place, you can go to the Copyright Office. The Copyright Office, I think that we have one in Accra and Abraka. There's one Copyright Office there. You can go to the Copyright Office to report, or you can still, better still, with your evidence, you can still go to the police station to make a case. Then they will follow up to the Copyright Office, or they will guide you to the Copyright Office to effect whatever they have to do. So even if you go to a Copyright Office, they will still have to go to the police station to arrest the person who did it, or to make a case. So in other ways, either you go to the Copyright Office first or the police station first, you still beat the two parties to report the copyright case. I hope I answered your question.
Yes, sir.
Any other question? If there are no questions, my name again is Isaac Ohiriamankwa, your facilitator for ICT. Hope to see you soon. So I would like to say bye-bye. And thank you very much for being here, for listening to me.
Are you on vacation and desperately want to catch up with the syllabus? Silla.
Don't fret, because Joy Learning is giving you free extra classes not only on TV but on Zoom.
Did you encounter any challenges with certain topics at school? Bring them here and we will help you get it solved with no sweat, Charlie.
We are offering you a one-on-one teaching and learning opportunity with our award-winning TV teachers. Is it mathematics, general science, English language, or any of the elective subjects that you had challenges with? Meet our teachers for easy solutions.
How do you join these free extra classes on Zoom?
1. Download the Zoom app from the Google Play Store or the Apple App Store. 2. Create your username. 3. Look for our Zoom meeting password on all our social media handles every week. And voila! You are good to join our virtual classroom from the comfort of your home.
Make a date with your facilitator this Saturday at 12 noon prompt.
The Joy Learning teacher and you, we don't stop learning. Joy Learning. Keep learning.